This is assignment 3 for Java using databases. Random binary file processing. So this is the app we have built where we can add persons. I'm gonna add a higher record since we've added all the low numbers. Let's say this is Ozzy Osborne, age, whatever, phone, whatever. If we add, we get a message that tells us we've done it successfully. If we try adding a different person with the same record, we will get an error because we must choose always a different record number. Now, if we want to display the records, this is the find method. Here's the famous John Doe, president of our apps, I believe. 2, and Ozzy Osbourne, which was 101. Only the record number is needed to find the person and display the attributes in these fields. So I'm gonna go through an overview of the files. These are the 3 files: the person class, the random input and output class, and the GUI class. This is the person class, which implements the serializable. Here we have set the attributes and the constants for the maximum length of each one, and also this record size, which wasn't part of the assignment, but we found useful for the uniqueness of the records for the validator. Here's the constructor for the person class, and here are the mutators and accessors for the attributes. This one is the GUI class. Now, these are the fields, the buttons accessible to all classes. This is all layout stuff. Here's where we create an instance of the random IO class, and we call it data methods. This is the random IO class where all the magic happens. Here's the constructor for the GUI class. Here we add the components, the panels, and organize them. By the end of it, we call for this method to activate the buttons, which is this one here, where we activate the 2 buttons. Here's the add person button, which calls for the add person method within the data methods, which is the random IO class, which is in the random IO class. Here it is. And the find person, which is also within the random IO class in this file. Here it is. Each one of these calls for other methods within the random IO class. For example, the add person calls for this method is record num duplicate. This is a validator to see that the records aren't duplicated. It also uses the random access file class, and it uses the write string method, which is below here. And this uses within its parameters the max length that we have established, this parameter max length that we have established previously in the person attributes as constants, so that they can be read with the C class after the set amount of bytes.
Hello, Professor. This is Jersey from Group 1, and today I'm going to explain the logic behind the add button in assignment 3. And as Roger has mentioned, my teammate, Roger, we have created an add button in the GUI application inside the assignment 3. And for the add button, we activate the action listener and then override the action perform method, which when the button is clicked, uh, we store and record the value of the record number, first name, last name, phone, and also the age from the user input, and then when everything is entered correctly, the person object is created from the person class, and then we call the method of add person with the input of the person object from the uh, random IO random IO instance that we created, which should be, sorry, give me a sec, which should be here. Yep, random IO then equals new random IO. And then once we call the method, we jump into the random IO file, random IO Java file in the class. I mean random IO class inside the data package. And then also the Roger has already mentioned that we create a file path and then check if the record number is duplicate, and if it's duplicate, then we return true. If the random number is not duplicate, then we return false. And this method will be used in the add person method as well. So inside the method, we have the input of person object, which we first check if the record number is duplicate from the user input, and if it's not, we if it is yes, sorry, if it is yes, it's duplicated, then we present a message showing that the record already existed, so it's an error, so return nothing. And then if it's not duplicated, then we create a random access file to read and write a file, which we have the file path or to the records.data .dat file, which we give the access of read and write to the file. And then for into so the random access file is called ref, and then we using the ref we use a seek to move the file pointer to the end of the file by mentioning the length of the random access file, which will go to the very end of the file to so lead is ready to append a new record. And then as we have already checked, the person is not duplicated, so we just need to write the record in, which we use the random access file to write the binary data into integer for for record number and age, and write string for using the write string method. We write the string into the into the data file using the random access file by putting the ref, and then also the string that we want to write in, and also providing a maximum length of characters. So we control the size in bytes of each in each field. So it's easier for us to later on to find the person that we want when we are using seek method inside the find person method. So as soon as it's added, the person is added successfully, we show the message, and otherwise we catch the error that occur, and using the print stack trace, we will just show the message inside the console, so it's easier for us to get access to the area that appears and then fix it. And so for the write string method, we created another write string method for writing the string into the DAT file, which as I have already said, the ref string and max length are the parameters, and we first check if the string is null or not. If the string is null, then we create a empty string, which nothing is entered. And then if everything is alright, then we use the write bytes method of associated with the random access file, which we will be able uh, to input the respective string. So for example, if it's a first name, we input the first name as the format of uh, as the string format of being left justified, with the max length that we first that we created inside the person.java file. So we created like the max length for each of the attributes of person class. So we can make sure that the size in bytes are fixed, so it's easier to add and find the data inside the add and find method. And in this case, sorry, in this case, in the right string, we just do the left justify and the max sense. So every person object has a fixed size, and also the left justify meaning that every string will start on the very left, and later on, if the max length of the characters are not filled, it will fill with white spaces. So it makes sure of again, it makes sure that every size of the data are fixed. And this is everything behind the logic of add method. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Ryan Anchata, and I will be talking about the logic behind the find person method. So first, we created a find person method based on the user input, input of record number. So if the user wants to find the record number 1001, she will put it into our JText field, and then we will get that number, and then we will get that number, and then call this method to find the person with the record number in our binary file. So first is we're creating a try block to handle exceptions. So inside our try block, we created a object of random access file called graph with the file path. So here we defined we assign a variable which is called file path that contains the file path of our file, and then we are giving it the mode R, so read only because we don't need to write anything for find person method. So next is we created a while loop to iterate through the start, which is the get file pointer. So we are getting the start of our where's the starting point of our file, our binary file, and then so we can iterate through the whole file, which is the end of the file, using the .length method. So next is assigning variable. So we created a int record number. So this will hold the record number from our binary file. And then next is creating a variable of first name, last name, and phone, which are all string. So we created a read string method that will read each variable using their maximal length and then convert them into string, and then trimming the white spaces so it will look good in our JText field. So here, this is our file path. So this has parameters of file path, random access file, and then the person class and the number. Oh, just the int. It will ask for an int, which is the length that we will be searching, which is the max length. So for this, we're searching for the max length of the f name. So this will get the max. This will read the byte array of the first name based on the max length that's given. That we assigned in our person class, which is 20, and then converting it to string and then removing the white spaces and then assigning it to the first name variable. So the rest is all the same. Next is creating variable int age with data type int, which is called age. That will get the age of the person we're looking for using the read int. So there's an if statement that will check if there's a matching record from the input of the user and the record number in our binary file. So if this is true, it will create a new person object with a record number, first name, last name, phone, and age, and then this will return to the JText field. So here's the catch block that will catch our exceptions and will pop up a dialog if there's error, if the file is not there, for example. And next is if the record number, if this statement will show if the record number has no matching records in our binary file. So it says person not found. So next thing I want to talk about is the read string method. So I talked about it a little earlier. So it takes parameters of the random access file, which is the ref, and the x integer, which is the max length. So this throws IO exception, so we don't need a try and catch block. So for the first step is to create an array of bytes, creating a new array of bytes with a parameter max length. So what this do, it will read based on the maximum length that we defined, which is I told earlier is in the person class. And next is using the read fully method. So this will read the array, the record in the array of the bytes into the maximum length, which is 20 for the first name and 25 for the max for the last name, and then for the max phone max length. And then next is converting it into string using creating a new object of string with the parameter bytes, which is we created earlier here, and then trimming it so we can remove the white spaces from our binary file. So that's all. Thank you for